Welcome to the Women in Business radio show with Sian Murphy, connecting women in business around the globe.
Hello and welcome into the Women in Business radio show studio. That was quite slick, wasn't it?
I must admit, that was a good one. That was a good one.
You see, now I don't know what to say. Now that we didn't sort of like lurch into the show,
I've got to apologise at this time.
Now I've got nothing to talk about.
No,
you see, but I had to mention it was okay. Just in case. Who knows what will happen next week? Okay, we've got an absolutely packed studio today. So let me introduce who we've got in the studio. I'm going to start, of course, with my lovely co-host Adelle.
Hello, good morning.
Adelle Martin, the executive midlife coach and menopause expert, and I tell you what, keeping us all all sorted out.
We are
today.
cool as a cucumber today.
We are. Well, the studio's absolutely freezing, and I'm always mean to tell guests how cold the studio is. But never mind, I've got a hole in my top as well. I'm a right mess. You have to watch it with the photos. Okay, who else have we got in the studio? We've got Sylvia Ottway with us, who is a leader and independent consultant from the Body Shop at Home. Welcome, Sylvia.
Thank you.
I can't actually see Sylvia because
we've got a full studio.
I've got a full studio. I miscounted the microphones.
You'd always hear me before you see me.
Yes, but this is true. Sylvia actually doesn't need a microphone, and that includes the fact that over 50% of our listeners are actually in the States. So Sylvia, I reckon they would be able to hear you from there.
Probably.
So welcome, Sylvia. Also in the studio we have Marie O'Connor, who is a healing crystals expert, the crystals queen, and I know Sylvia well. Both Sylvia and Marie do both of my events. As do our other two guests. So it's a bit like two worlds colliding.
It is today.
Isn't it? It's all a bit funny.
It is, yeah.
It is. So Marie O'Connor, who is a healing crystals expert, welcome.
Thank you for inviting me today.
Also in the studio we have Emma Unsworth, who is a success coach and intuitive artist. Welcome, Emma.
Thank you.
We're going to be hearing a little bit about what everybody does shortly. And we also have Kay Best. Now, Kay, we don't do much preparation, okay? We send our form and we ask people just to say what it is how would they like to be introduced? And Kay just put Kay. Means I'm a little bit stumped. And also, so I'm now just shuffling through my papers because the daft thing is that Kay does so much. Kay does so much. So she's a psychic medium card reader. She's also a you run and can organise certified courses, can't you?
Yeah.
In hypnotherapy, depression and pain management. So she does an awful lot of stuff, which sometimes, a bit like some of us women in business, she doesn't shout too much about, which is why she's down here on the radio show. So time to start talking about it. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to be focusing on two of our guests, and another two of our guests are going to be in the following show, because those of you who hadn't realised yet, we have two shows. And I think in the first one we're going to be talking about taking spirituality to events, because all of the women in the studio today work at real life events where they have stands and that sort of thing. They offer what they do at events. Sometimes that is working one-to-one with people, sometimes that's teaching workshops at events, and sometimes that's retailing, that's selling stuff at events. And all of them do something. Sylvia also, she's round the corner. Hello, Sylvia. Sylvia also does team building, don't you? You recruit into a team. So you support other business women to start up their own business with the Body Shop.
That's right.
And we are going to be focusing on that in the next show. So if you're listening to this and you haven't found the next show, if you go on, it'll have something like MLM in the title. So you can go and search, and we'll be talking about that in the next one. Okay, so I think we ought to tell people how they can listen to the show, don't you?
Yes, definitely.
Well, I'll just take my chewing gum out. Hang on a minute. Stick it on that bottle, so I don't like to leave it stuck on. For the next presenter. Okay, how can you listen to us? Tell them, Adelle.
Well, you can listen to us on Spotify, on Audible, Alexa, Apple Podcasts and Spreaker. So yeah, we're on Spotify with everybody else.
We are, and if you want to listen to us on Alexa, don't which is what some people have said, go and say, Alexa, can you play those daft women who are on? Who don't know what they're doing, and some stupid radio stations let them loose in there.
But I bet it knows that we're straight at the top.
Yeah. If you just search for Alexa, play the Women in Business radio show, the daft women will appear. And how can people connect with us?
It's a fun bit. So on Twitter, we are Wib Radio Live. On Instagram, my favourite, we're Women in Business Radio. And Facebook and LinkedIn, we are the Women in Business Radio Show.
And we now have a new newsletter. It's only taken 8 years.
Yeah, it is. It's not the plan.
It was in the plan.
It was.
Is there a plan? No. So if you would like to become a supporting member, we would be really, really grateful. It's a whole $5 a month, and it helps us to keep going. So if you head over to the Women in Business Radio show, there's a what's that thing? There's like a thing up on the menu.
Yeah, there is.
You would. I'd say what we need is somebody in here who develops websites. They'd be.
I think
they'd have the right words. Up on the menu, there's a link to a page that says become a supporting member. You can go in there. You can subscribe. It's a whole $5 a month, and for that, you get not only links to the radio shows, but you also get some behind the scenes stuff. So we pull out all of the books and all of the sort of the recommendations, all of the top tips, all are pulled out at no expense spared. Here is it?
No
expense spared.
No, we put it all out.
And it all goes into the newsletter for a whole $5 a month. All of the wisdom the collective wisdom of women in business that we have on the show, all into that newsletter.
Women supporting women.
So announcements. I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you do the announcement because it's that. Look.
What is it? The big show.
But, yes, it is. But seeing as you're talking at it, I thought it would be quite nice if you did it.
Yeah, our big announcement here is we have the Women in Business, a big show for 2022 on the 25th of August. And we're getting lots of noise and lots of conversation about that. And I'm talking to so many amazing women that are looking to come and exhibit and there. And we're not that far out of London, close to Ebbsfleet. So, no, I think this is going to be a really cool show. And I know wherever I'm out and about at networking, everybody's talking about the big show. So we don't miss out.
And we've now got VIP tickets.
We do have VIP tickets.
We have VIP tickets, and if you're really, really lucky, Adelle is going to be doing a special. Going to be doing a special workshop in there about building resilience.
I will.
But only it's exclusive for VIP attendees who also get to come along to the VIP opening, which is going to be opened by my local MP, Kelly Tolhurst, and also the women. Oh God, this is awful, isn't it? The policy lead for women in business for the FSB, so that's from the UK.
Yeah, we will be,
and all of the other exhibitors and speakers are going to be there.
Yep.
And that's £49 if you want to come along as a VIP member.
Yeah, really good value. There's a lot of stuff in there for that. So yeah, really good.
Okay, shall we start off on our regular thing? We ought to ask people if they want this, because we just keep delivering it, don't we?
No.
We never know if listeners actually want it.
No, because we had a guest in the other week who actually used some of the information we shared. Do you remember? I mean, she said, I saw that. I was on your show. And
this is
so
right.
We knew someone was listening. We had one listener.
We did.
She did. She
Rock on.
She was so excited. She said, I got this and this from the show.
Okay. I'll tell you what, we'll do it. I hope you have got something here, because I've got, I nearly said a couple of rude... Oh, look at that.
I've written it down. I've done my homework.
I nearly said a rude word there. Okay, so I suppose we ought to share what's happening. Who have we got on this one? Okay, so Marie and Emma. Okay. That's you two. Right, you guys are up. We are going to be having around the table on what we've learnt this week, any tools that we can recommend, any books that we can recommend, and any quotes. And your books can be, what are you reading this week, actually? So, if you haven't got anything, don't worry. We don't tell you this in advance, because then you'd sit there spending hours thinking about it. And what we want is it just coming right out spontaneously. And while you're all doing that, I'm going to think spontaneously about mine. Okay, off you go. What have you learnt this week, Adelle?
So I've learnt this week, I often get asked for collaborations and conversations. So someone comes at you with, this is a collaboration you want, and actually it wasn't what I wanted. But actually we worked together to a third alternative. So what I've learned this week, you can have a conversation with somebody and they may come to you with a clear, I want to have a collaboration with you. I said, thank you, but I've already got a partner for this. I don't need that. But actually, why don't we work on this together? And it was some more campaigning that we were doing. So sometimes I think to myself, actually, rather than saying no, thank you for the phone call, actually build up a third alternative. And from that, I become, we've now had a subsequent conversation and we're going to do some work that's campaigning. So it's not business related, because again, Sian, I'm quite restricted on who I collaborate with because this is my business. But the collaboration is more around raising the profile of menopause on World Menopause Day at Parliament, because there's a lot of noise. And we're going back up again on the 18th. So that was more of a collaboration. So it was a third alternative rather than saying thank you, but no thank you. It was with a fellow menopause coach. And I forgot, actually, perhaps I don't use third alternatives enough. And that was my learn this week.
Okie dokie. Marie, have you learnt anything this week?
I have. You talking about Alexa earlier on. I learned that you can listen to Audible on Alexa. I listen to a lot of books. At the moment, I'm doing a lot of courses online, and I'm listening to those while I'm doing the housework. It's fun.
Super tip. Emma, have you learnt anything this week?
Oh, many things. I think my biggest one this week was the reflection with working with clients, because I'm seeing a lot of people coming to me and there's a lot of rush and got to get everything done, and this sense of urgency, especially after the last couple of years, as we're trying to come back to whatever normal is, it's that old rush, and I'm kind of realising that sense of urgency, that play, we don't need that anymore, and just kind of detaching from that urgency and going, oh, I can go at my own pace. So that was a big aha moment for me, and just chilling out, and it's all going to happen in its own timing.
And not letting other people's energy and speed drive you forwards. Yeah, and actually, and the thing with that is it can actually happen without you being aware of it.
Completely. People can so easily just, they come in a whirlwind or a bit of chaos, and then you're oh, you naturally kind of tune into it and going, do I need to be in that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that. So just becoming aware of if you're being driven at somebody else's pace.
Yeah, and you don't have to play at other people's urgency.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. I've learned what I've learned this week is that you have to make decisions fast. You have to make fast decisions, but you have to remember to tell people what's happening in a proper way. And this is hello Sylvia. Something might have happened that you don't know about yet.
She does.
Oh, she does. Okay, I made a decision earlier this week to stop running a particular event and to merge it with another event that was running in a very, very similar area. And I made that decision quite quickly, in about 25 minutes. And I then sent out an email to the visitors of that event, but I sent it and they saw it. I thought it all made sense, because I thought it meant, OK, well, we're going to be having the Medway event, and we're going to have this event, and we're going to have that event. What it actually did, and I didn't realise this, was create a degree of fear in some of our visitors that actually all of the events were going to stop, even though I'd explained what was going to happen and what was going to be going on at each individual event. Never any intention to stop doing the events, but I didn't put that in the email because I didn't think it was relevant. I thought it's obvious we're not going to stop the events. I'm not going to give it up, am I? I've been doing this for far too long, but things have to evolve, things have to move, and we have to look at the trends and what's happening and adapt accordingly, because we're business women. And I had a couple of messages come through, some other exhibitors going, oh, so-and-so's really worried that you're going to stop doing them. No, I'm not. And so it was just to, yes, make the decision, but then remember what you say, and that it may not all be, people don't know what's in my head.
No.
And to actually think through. to
get out of your head.
I don't know what's in my head, actually. But to really think through the different ways that other people can perceive what you've decided to do.
Yeah.
And I know all of this stuff. I just didn't stop to think about it. So that's what I've learnt. Shall we go on to tools?
Yes, okay.
Okay, so what tool are you going to recommend this week?
So, I am going to recommend WhatsApp Business.
Oh, I'm so pleased, because I tried to sort that out the other day, and it looked like it was going to be fatal, and that all of my other WhatsApp stuff was suddenly going to come. We wouldn't want that to happen. Would suddenly come pouring out into the metaverse or something. I thought, let's not do that.
No, know. So I love WhatsApp Business. Yes, I've still got my family chat on there where my mum posts her dinners so I can see what's going on. But we can group them because you can create categories like family and mute them if you need to, which is good, and client. So you can do that. But more importantly, you can now put your products on there. You can put your products, you can put your bios, and also you can exchange documents and things through everybody as well. So, and also I've got it on my phone, but I've also got it on my desktop, which makes life a lot easier. So, yeah, I'm really into that. And I think the product...
So were you able to split up? Were you able just to put the WhatsApp business on your desktop, or did you have to have the whole thing?
I've got one... So for WhatsApp, I've got my clients and my family in one
all
place.
On one,
I just tag fam and mute them. It's easy.
So, a shout out
to my family. God.
a shout out there for WhatsApp Business.
My family.
Thank you. I think that's something that we need to expand on, actually. I think we probably need to put that into some sort of workshop class
and
thing.
You can code the tags and everything else. And also, so when my WhatsApp comes up, I can see clients on, and you can quickly do messages. Honestly, I think I've had WhatsApp Business for a while. It's like one of those things. Do you know what, Sian? What do we do often? Go and look for another tool. And somebody said to me, "Oh, we'll use this other messaging app." And I thought, no, I'm not, because all we keep doing is getting shiny new toys. So I went back. Do you know what? Let's look at WhatsApp Business properly. As always, you're using a fraction of the capability that you've already got on your desktop. And all we do is add more shiny things to it.
Yeah.
Which I've made a commitment after the fact that we had a bit of a confession a few weeks ago, didn't we?
About
keep getting
shiny things.
Yeah, we've stopped. We've got a bit of an agreement where we stop shiny new things. Yeah. I hope you had.
Terrible.
Because I listened to your tour and if it's a shiny new thing.
It's not a shiny new thing, actually. At all. Thank you.
I've been using that about a month now, about WhatsApp Business.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it does make a difference. So there you go. It's my
I might well press the button.
Go on then.
Okay.
So if I get pushed into the metaverse, I know.
Yes. There's certain things I'm really just like not out there. Marie, have you got a tool you'd recommend?
I have, and it's quite basic for me, really. It's almost like going back to the beginning again. I've actually found these numbers that you can get, and they're numbers 1 to 3,000. So I can actually put a number on each piece of my stock. So when I'm not there, I've got it all listed on the tablet. So they can, when I'm at an event, or if I'm doing something like walking around even, somebody else can man the store and say,
When you say you found these numbers, what do you mean? Are they stickers? Or?
Stickers.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so they're pre-numbered, so I don't have to spend hours printing them out. I know it's something basic, but it's brilliant. And it's
so where do you get them?
From get them from Amazon.
Okay. What are they called? Just sticker numbers?
I actually put in sticker numbers.
Okay, so sticker numbers, and then so you put like number 1 goes on number 1 product, and then you have an inventory somewhere else with. Okay, you see, this is another level of organisation, isn't it? I just have numbers and then nothing else.
I've had different numbers, A1, A2,
got you,
for different boxes, but because I do a lot of different stock products and I want to change them around often, rather than having to change the spreadsheet for the store and so for the website, I can just have them all on there, and when people buy them, I can just take it off the website if it's on the website. So it just makes it a lot easier.
Okay. You see, we get so many different things on here, don't we?
I know, I love
How
it.
useful is that?
I know. It's amazing.
Emma, have you got a tool?
I love at the moment, there's an app called Otter AI.
Oh,
It
for
is
goodness
really
sake! Now, what am I going to talk about?
It's got your tool, hasn't
love
it?
Have I taken your tool?
No.
Oh, quick. Okay, I'll speak a little bit longer.
No, go on.
No, but I love it because, like, when I'm creating content or writing things, like, if you sit me down in front of a computer and, like, type, it's just not going to flow. But if I start speaking, and quite a lot of the time I talk to myself, you just kind of start talking out content and it just starts transcribing. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it is. It's a really, really cool tool. I use it for interviews. I also use it for, after the show, this, I was starting to transcribe it, but, crikey, that just went on and on forever and ever. But I plug this into it, and then I get it as a sort of transcription, and I can go and find things in there. So I get it written out rather than having to listen to everything and all of the tools and everything. I can go and search them. So if you're wondering why I keep saying tool, it's not a strange obsession. Well, it could be, but it's actually makes it easier to go and find it. There you go. So go and search Ottway for tool, and this will pop up. Thank you for sharing that one. Okay, mine is actually, it's a little thing on the Mac. So you can only use it on Apples and you can only use it on Mac, so tough. For the rest of you. Especially those of you who ridicule Apple. It's about scrolling. See, my hands don't work very well. And so scrolling sometimes horizontally is a bit of a problem. And then I discover... I also can't see very well, so picking up the little bar on the bottom and moving it along can sometimes be a bit of a problem. But I have discovered that if you press Shift and then you scroll on your mouse, you can scroll horizontally automatically.
Can you?
Yeah. Instead of up and down. And that is actually, it may sound ridiculous, that is a game changer for me. The frustration of trying to find this stupid little thing. I've moved my dock. I've put my dock in a different place because I'd be scrolling along the bottom, and what I'm doing is opening up apps. I've got apps pinging up all over the place. So I've moved the dock over onto the right-hand side. If you don't have an Apple, you may not. I don't know. Do they have docks on other machines? I don't know. Do they? No,
I don't think so.
No idea.
It's an Appleism.
So yeah, that control. So shift, and then you can scroll horizontally. There we go. We've done that now, haven't we? We're going to have to find something sensible to talk about. So, so back in the room, we're going to be talking about taking spirituality and healing, health, those sorts of... I don't know what to call them now. I run the events. What do you call them? Sort of new agey, sort of
Holistic.
Holistic. Yes, there's a word. Holistic. How did I ever get to do this? I'm a writer.
I'm your second brain.
I don't know. Oh dear, it's not enough. Yes, taking that sort of thing to events. So, Marie, first of all, I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yep.
Then I'm going to ask Emma what she does, and then we're going to talk about how we actually take those into the physical realm of an event, and where you have the talking to people, the setting stuff up, and the promoting what you do, because that's what it's about. We're business women. We love to help people, but somewhere along the line, somebody's got to give us some money. Because so, Marie, tell us what you do.
I sell crystals. I sell crystals. I make healing jewellery, healing bags, general health things for the new age, a holistic side of things, really. I've been doing that since 2016. It started off as a hobby that just got bigger and bigger and took over my house. We had to move.
I like it.
But you're a healer, aren't you?
I am. I do crystal healing and Reiki. So yeah.
So I think the important thing here is that there's a depth to what you're doing, and I think for me that is different to making just a strict business decision that something may be trending or popular, and that you are going to go to the wholesalers and tap into that.
Yeah, definitely.
So. One has sort of led from the other, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely. Originally, I've been into crystals all my life, since I was a little girl, and it's just grown with me. And then a few years ago, after losing my dad, I went down the holistic route, which is where I had Reiki, and I thought, hang on a minute, I can use my crystals. So crystals come out, and and it's all gone from there, really. Since my dad passed, it was a new chapter in my life. Everything changed for me. And,
so there's a path, isn't there? There's a path, and I think when you are selling stuff, because selling isn't a dirty word, is it? Even though I had to. When you're selling stuff, there is that sort of background to it, isn't it? It's not put something in a bag and take an amount of money for it. That there is. It's a bit like taking your cat to the vet, isn't it? You're not just paying them for to stick an injection in. What you're paying for is the knowledge that's gone on behind that to actually know what injection to stick into them and what's wrong with them.
That's right. Yeah, and I've been learning about crystals since I was a teenager. When I could find out about things, I'd be down at the library reading them. Because back in that day
It was a library, that's where you had to sit.
And it was there was Britannia back then, was probably one of the bigger encyclopedias.
Of course, yes.
Use. And it was all very interesting, and it's a lot more easier now for people to open up a crystal business and just look on Google just to find out what a crystal is and what it means. But I like to know that I've worked with the crystal before I let anybody else have it, and I want to know that the energy is right for that person, because it is all about getting the right energy. And if ever I felt that somebody was choosing the wrong crystal for whatever reason, I would actually say, have you thought about maybe trying this one instead or as an addition, because nobody wants to stop a sale, but I want to make sure that they're getting the right crystal for them.
So, just expanding on that a little bit, we're back down out of lockdown now, and so physical events are happening again. Yeah. But you just said, you want to make sure that somebody's getting the right crystal, and that you would sort of, stop that sale and make sure they're getting the right one. How does that work if you're not actually talking one-to-one with them at an event? I can do on the phone. I can do Zoom. So you still sort of get that connection?
Yeah. I do a lot of phone calls where I'd speak to people. Last night I was on the phone till 9 o'clock talking to somebody about a particular crystal that they need. But I will speak to somebody on the phone, do Zoom and Skype, whatever's best for them, really.
Yeah, so it's something that because you're experienced in what you do, are able to help that person in a say health way, but beyond making a sales selection.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. I think the time that you spend with an individual, you can find out more about them than reading it in a message, and it really does help speaking to them on the phone, doing a video chat or whatever. It does mean so much more than just making the sale.
Yeah, okay. I think that's key, isn't it, really? Emma. Hello. Can we... So I've had to turn one of the mics off because it's making a funny buzzing noise again. I think it's yours, Sylvia. No, it's that one, isn't it?
Can you hear me?
No. Okay.
Oh, well, can you hear me now?
I can, yes. Yeah. Can you pull... I'll tell you what, we never manage to get through a show, don't we, without some sort
of... It's always a mic. Each week it's a different one.
I know.
This is the random piece.
I know, it's like somebody comes in and does something. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Emma. So a little disruption there. Emma, tell us a little bit about what you do, how you work, and then we'll talk about how you bring that to the events.
Great. So I work as a success coach. And that really is about activating people's most successful selves and helping them step more and more into that. And in that journey that we go on together, there's lots of healing, there's lots of work, there's lots of kind of releasing limiting beliefs, mindset. And so there's so much that goes on in that journey. And I also work as an intuitive artist, and it's very complementary because I was having all these amazing conversations with people and this energy was coming through. And I was trying to find a way to kind of take that intangible and make it tangible. Like somebody could see the energy, feel the energy, touch the energy, like that kind of the nature of the spiritual work we do. And so Spirit kind of channeled through me and was like, paint it, get it through and channel that through paint and canvas. And so I have been creating energetic art for the last couple of months now. And I've been bringing it to events.
So when you're at an event, what is it that you are there to do, and what sort of conversations are you having with people?
I think for me, everything that I'm doing is linked to my core values of connecting with people, helping people heal and grow. And what I'm there to do is kind of just share that energy with people. And when that energy has kind of been deeply received, I think that's when the exchange of money comes back. Like the money is just showing me, okay, that energy's gone in the right place, that healing's gone in the right place, and that's come back. So I'm there to really just kind of share that energy, get that energy out there, because I think, especially as light workers or energy workers at the moment, there's so much to be done in the collective, and it's now just like, how much can we get out there and help and empower and inspire as many people as possible. And it might just be that they need to just see a painting and it empowers them and goes, oh, that's about confidence, or, you know, oh, that's about softening. And they kind of just get that message subconsciously.
That's an interesting word, softening. What do you mean by that?
Like stepping into the feminine. I think so much, especially in business, I'm a massive advocate of like being in that open, feminine energy, because a lot of business, and the business background I come from was very masculine, very heavy, very hard, very hot, very yang, and it caused me to burn out. And so I've had to create a business that actually truly reflects my natural energy, which is actually much more feminine and soft and relaxed and flowing. And when I'm in that, that's me being in my most successful self.
Oh, I should try that, because I'm quite snarly, aren't I? Really?
No, but I absolutely get that.
I've never... Yes, okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I've not... that's a sort of a new one, the softening, for me.
Yeah, because again,
Okay.
I came from a very yang coming into business.
Well, yes, I suppose I did as
we
well.
were both yang.
Yes.
We did. We spent a lot of time in that yang and coming out into business. And then for me, then being approached by build your 6-figure business. And I'm like, oh my God, I've gone from yang to yanger. I just hated it. I really hated it. Honestly, it was awful. It was terrible. And I thought to myself, well, stop it, you know. And for me, I absolutely... You know, I love to disrupt, and I think I love to disrupt, and that's why we work together with women like yourself, because actually, who wrote the rule book? And for me, it's having that feminine, and I've just finished The Art of War for women, and it brings that yin and the yang. So actually, our strength comes from knowing to be yin and knowing when to be yang. And for me, that's the smart bit. And I just wish I've given that to my daughter at 25. But we didn't. I had no choice but to come through a yang. And when I start my own business, I was not going to be pushed into that. So I take my hat off to that. But I like the idea of softening that.
Yes,
I do. I like that. Yeah.
I like that word. I like that word as a concept. So going back... for a bit of a tangent there, who knew?
We like tangents.
Softened into it.
So going back for you at events, it's about meeting new people. It's about let's bring this down to business, okay? And I'm just going to explore the light workers should work for nothing thing in a minute. It's about connecting with new people, potentially for them becoming clients, and also selling art. But it gives you an opportunity to actually meet people one-to-one. Yeah. So a bit of promotion, meeting, exchange of energies, meeting the right people, and actually just sort of getting out there.
Yeah, very much so. It's very much about connection.
Yeah. Because I think sometimes if we're not careful, some of us who tend towards the introvert might not leave their home office ever.
Unless they're going to a radio show.
Yes, left
Just sit in another room.
Left to their own devices. Wouldn't talk to anybody for days, weeks. Let's just explore something that I hear quite a lot. Kay, this may also be sort of quite relevant for you, which is you shouldn't charge for your gift. You shouldn't charge for your gift. So if you have a gift as a healer, if you are a reader, if you are an intuitive in some other way that you're able to help people, that for some reason that is totally different to being a gifted teacher or a gifted accountant, where we never I don't know about you, I've never heard anybody say to a teacher, I tell you what, you're absolutely gifted at what you do, the way that you help children, the way that you can make that connection. Tell you what, go and work in a supermarket at night to earn money and give your gift away to the education sector for nothing. I have never heard anybody suggest that. No. And yet it's something that is, if you are able to alter somebody's energy, if you're able to calm somebody down in that sort of spiritual, we could even call it sort of woo-woo way, in that sort of, if you have that sort of gift, every now and then there's that criticism, isn't there, that you should somehow do this for nothing. I don't know what the thoughts are. So fire away, guys.
I mean, this really triggers me.
Okay. hang on a minute. The softening stopped.
Bring out the yang.
You know, it's just, I think I've done so much work on my value, and having been in that space around, like, it's so disempowering. Like, you're not charging for the value you're giving out. And, like, you know, you look at some of the top earners, like, the bankers and the really kind of rich people in this world, like, it's all just a value exchange. And I think it comes down to the collective belief. There's a belief somewhere, and I've also got a feeling it's like around like witchy spiritual wounds, very much around like, this is not valuable. Women are not, like, that spiritual side, that healer side is not valuable. And you can see it, the disparity in society with women, and the wage gap, and then the spiritual gap in wages as well. Like, I think it's just more the collective belief set that's just not aligned with, like, respecting and valuing people.
No, but it goes wider than that, because I get criticised for that as well with the stuff that I do.
Okay.
Yeah, well, menopause is, but I do find it geographically different. So if I work with women in the UK, for instance, it's like, well, you should be doing this for free. Okay, but other countries not, so sometimes it's around that. So it's not just that. I get, well, surely you should do this for free. And I said, well, yes, I'm a PT and I coach on all of this, but I have to keep my professional development up. And so for me, and then you get into this conversation of justifying your value, which again, so I say, actually, well, it's your choice. There is information that's free, but, I have credited. So, yeah, I find it in my space too. I probably get that quite more than I realise, actually. Why aren't you free?
I wonder if it happened, and those of you who listen regularly will know that this isn't a men-women thing, but it has sort of made me wonder whether this sort of thing does happen to men. My hairdresser, we were having a chat about this the other day, and he said to me, he said, if I cut hair for free, he said, everybody would just be coming to me all the time. They'd be coming to me every day, all day, every day to get it done. And I said, well, I wouldn't. And he went, why? I said, because there's guilt, for one thing. I if you were doing it for free, I'd stop using you. I'd go somewhere else, because I'd feel like, oh my God, I can't go to Cliff again. He's not charging, is he? He doesn't charge anything, so I'm taking advantage. Not everybody does, and I think that's what we have to remember, is that there's guilt is mine. Yeah. For me, if there isn't a fair exchange, I won't do it. I actually won't go to that person. So if he was too cheap or free, I wouldn't be his client. And perhaps what we have to say is, there are some people that expect it for free. They are not our people. I was with my beautician yesterday, and we had this concept around prices, and she's so she does her beauty in a shop, where there's some beauties that do it like in a shopping mall, in the middle, and therefore it's different in price. And people were saying to me, well, why don't you match that price? And she said, I was thinking about dropping my prices. I said, no, don't drop your price. That's not your ideal client. If you go and have your whatever you want done, beauty, in a shopping mall in the middle with everyone staring at you, then that's your choice. So I said to her, no, hold on, because that's not your ideal client. And she said, thank you. She said, because all of a sudden some people are saying, I said, no, don't do that. Hold your worth and have that conversation. But again, she was just doubting herself. And I think sometimes as women, we have that conversation. And you're right, it's not a male-female thing. But I haven't heard a man have that conversation about dropping sort of prices. But she felt under pressure to drop her prices. I think it's about a positioning thing, actually. Just thinking about it. So say if you were selling a piece of jewellery that was, say, £5,000 and you put it in the church hall, the chances are people wouldn't buy it. Because it's in the church hall. Yeah. But if you took it up to Hatton Garden or you put it in Harrods, they would buy it. And I wonder sometimes if it is about positioning. So how people perceive what they're going to pay is actually about that. And you need to. So if you're going to charge more, you need to make sure that where you are selling or where you're visible actually matches matches what you're charging.
Absolutely. And I just said to her, so is your books full while you're busy? Yeah, I'm busy. So don't change the price.
What's the
But it was
or put the price up?
Yeah, but it's just having that flicker.
Yeah.
But it's only sometimes it's us working with women that we have that conversation, and it's saying actually no, I'm going to hold my nerve. But I think collectively, if more women have this conversation and more of us say actually no, we value our worth, I do think collectively we'll change that. But it will take a while.
I'm not sure if you will change it. Actually, I'm being a bit sort of antagonistic and devil's advocate there, and I don't think we should. If I say I don't think we should try to. I think on an individual level, I think if somebody challenges your worth, you may want to look at it. You may want to review things, but you don't make a decision based on it. But sometimes I think we actually can't change the world. We just have to say, sorry, matey, you're not my client. Okay, never mind. Off you trot. Whilst I go and focus on the people that are. Otherwise, all we'll have done is change the world and we still won't be earning any money. Yeah,
it's normalised, probably I should have said about normalising the conversation we're having here to have that conversation. It's okay to have that conversation.
I think if we accept it on an individual level, that somebody may not be able to see our value. In much the same as somebody may have the money for a Rolls Royce but not buy one. That's fine. That's their choice. But there's no point in chasing after that person forever trying to sell them the Rolls Royce when you could actually go, oh, okay, all right then, and go and find somebody who does actually have the money and does want a Rolls Royce.
What I see a lot of women do as well, especially when I'm coaching them, is they're attaching their worth to the price, and it's like you are worthy. Yeah. You are born, you are human, you are worthy, and that's not your value. Like the value that you give out, that's the energy exchange for the money.
Yes,
and it's not linked to your worth. Because sometimes we as women, we might have a dry spell, and then we're like, oh, I'm not good enough, and and it all just like starts to spiral, and it's like no, it's the value that you're giving, not your worthiness, and like detaching the I from it as well, because. It's finding that value and the channels that people are going to respect and want that value from you. And I've also found as well myself, like the more I charge, the more people pay attention, the bigger the transformations people are getting, because the energy exchanges. So actually it's like putting those prices up when you're feeling like all the doubt and the...
And that's quite a difficult thing to do sometimes. But yes, it is very often the right thing to do. I think you do have to be careful what space you're in, though. So I run events, and I got, I say quite a lot of pressure. That's not true, but I had so many comments after the last Women in Business Big Show about putting the prices up. They said, it's ridiculous that you're charging that amount of money. How stupid. There are events that are, that are smaller than this or not as effective as this, and people are charging X, Y, and Z. And I thought, oh, yes, so they are. So they, yes, absolutely. And then I sort of stopped, and I took a step back, and I went back to my objectives and what I wanted to achieve, not just on a personal level, but what my intention was for people that were working with the event. And I realised that it didn't. Yeah, all right, I could charge that, but then I'd be working with a different set of people.
Yeah, you would.
I'd be working with people that I didn't perhaps want to work with.
Yes.
And I wouldn't be doing what it is that I'm supposed to do, which means that I need to find another way of funding that, be it through a community interest company or be it through other monetisation or just doing something which means I can do what it is I'm supposed to be or want to do, but still put food on the table because we have to live.
Yep.
Oh, we sure do.
Yeah, and I'm very expensive as far as food goes.
Food and wine.
I'm here to tell you,
wine.
Food, wine and makeup, all right? Girly.
But that is true. But what you're playing there is somebody's like challenge value, and actually, we call this the yang to push up the price. And actually, that's not the problem you're trying to fix with those shows.
But no, it's not. But I did spend a little time going, perhaps this is a confidence issue. Perhaps this is me, and I don't want to put those prices up because of my value and because I'm not worth that. And then I sort of had to do some, I don't like the term, but hey ho, some deep work. Yeah. And realised that actually, no, it wasn't about that. These are not the people I wanted to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that I actually really enjoy what I do, even though, and some of you see me at events sometimes when we haven't got the numbers through the door, I think, why is she doing this? and there are times where I think, why am I doing this? But I love it, but I only love it because of the people that I'm working with.
Yes, it's exactly the same as myself. I love it because of the people I'm working
And if
with.
I changed those people, actually, I wouldn't love it.
No, and again, similar.
I'd be rich, but I wouldn't love it.
Exactly, because I was talking to somebody yesterday about sort of coaching and private clients, etc. And I said, it's okay to turn people down, because otherwise you may get a really good private client and you see a nice figure there, but if you look at your diary and you wince and go, I've got that coaching call tomorrow.
Yeah.
No.
Or it's them.
Yeah, and I said no, and I have turned people down after a discovery call. Think actually, I don't think we can connect on values. Yes, I'm not going to pay the bills, but no, I can't. The thought.
Yeah.
I worked in corporate when I dreaded the diary. I wasn't going to do it in my own business. But sometimes you just you have to make that decision.
Absolutely. Let's chat now a little bit about where events fit into the mix of your business. So, what the overall business objective is, what you want to achieve, what you need to achieve, how you get the money coming in through the door, and where events fit into that. Because there are different sort of types of events and there are different things that you can achieve, aren't there? So you can you can almost operate it like a pop-up shop. You go along, you pay, you exhibit at an event, you get your stall out, you open your shop, you sell as much stuff as you can, and you bugger off. I wouldn't recommend that, but there are some events where that is an excellent tactic. They tend to be quite expensive events, and they're quite high risk as well. The fact that there were 25,000 people through the door last year does not mean there will be 25,000 people through the door this year, and yet very often the price that you pay for the stand will reflect what has happened in the past. So where does that fit into what you do? I think also we've got all the mics on. Can everybody join in with this? Because you all appear at events. So have we got enough? Just all shout into them. We'll do the best. Is that pink one is working? I've got them all working.
There you go.
So where people who are listening in thinking, hey, we the world is opening back up again. I may get out and do some physical events. Get out there, do a bit of exhibiting, go along to events and sell. What would you advise them to do?
Just get out there. There's no hesitate. Don't hesitate, because the more you hesitate, the longer it is before you actually get out there. So get out there, get your stuff out there. You learn from the events. So your first event, you might just take a few bits, or not take the right bits. For example, money, food, or whatever. And then the next time, you know what to bring. It's a good way of meeting your customers. I get a lot of my customers come to see me at events to pick up orders, which helps me interact with them as well, and it also helps them go and have a look to see what else is on offer.
Because potentially there's more sales will come from that. So somebody could buy a little crystal for a couple of pounds, and they come along, they get to meet you, you have a much broader conversation with them, right. And then they can see other things that you're offering, and they get to see your expertise, and perhaps become a customer, a lifelong customer.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
I have definitely got a few of my regulars that will always come to the events because they want to see what else I've got, because maybe when I do a live unboxing or whatever, they can't actually see it as clearly, and they want to actually feel the crystal to feel the actual energy.
That is such a super tip. So what you're effectively doing is you're interacting online, you're getting seen and known online, and then you're going, hey, this is where I am on Saturday, come along, collect it.
Right.
And that's your opportunity to have a much stronger connection with them.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I do try and encourage as many people who are local to come along to the events, because not only are they getting to see me, they're getting to see my crystals, and also everybody else at the event, because they may want to come along and have a therapy session or even a reading, because those...
So for you, Marie, you've got a physical product to sell. But being at an event is very much part of your marketing and sales mix.
Yeah.
What does anybody else think?
I think it's also really important at events to make friends with all the other stallholders. I've been at events before, and you see a stallholder, they're sitting behind the table, they've got their head in their mobile phone. You're missing so much that goes on around you. You know, other stallholders are great for picking up tips, especially if you're new to doing events. And sometimes they become your best customers. They recommend you, and they tell you about other events that are going on as well.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It gives a massive confidence boost sometimes as well if they're just starting out, especially.
Yeah. And yes, talking to other exhibitors, because I think you're going along, especially if it's your first time at an event, you're a bit Billy No Mates, and you're absolutely right. The first thing people tend to do is they get their mobile phone out because you're feeling a bit uncomfortable. What I say is take a journal along, write in a journal. That doesn't quite say F off as much as being in your phone, but yes, go and talk to the others. The best customers are not actually coming in through the door. The best customers are the other exhibitors. Yeah. Kate, very, 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 very quickly, you offer, I don't know how to say this, but a personal service.
I like it.
So you offer a paid one-to-one reading session with clients at events. What is your experience of doing it? Because that's really quite different, isn't it? It's the sort of thing that very often you might do in a salon, or you might do in your own home, or you could be mobile. But now here you are in a space where there are lots of other people coming in that you don't necessarily know. Can you just move that mic over a bit? Sorry. So what's your advice to somebody perhaps new starting out who is going to be doing that sort of one-to-one session where they're also taking money for it?
That is a big confidence thing, to be able to go and actually charge for something like that. And a lot of people start off not wanting to, but at the end of the day, you've still got to live. In a sense, with readings, it's almost like a spiritual counselling kind of thing, really, as well. And a lot of people can't afford to have something that they've got to pay more money from than what you get at an event, but also there's just something that they do need. And so in a way it depends as well, because some people want card readings, but they don't always then get what they need from that, if it's spirit that they need or want, or they've lost someone, or anything like that. So so it can be a confidence thing to start and get in there and do it. And I can't say just go and do it, because you just don't know whether that's going to be right for that person.
And one of the things that I've seen when somebody's doing, it could be manicures, it could be facials, it could be readings, it could be healing, is sometimes they don't get the clients for about 2 or 3 goes, and that's because they're sort of acclimatising and just getting a bit used to it, and like, what's this going to, how this is going to work? What if somebody interrupts me? And learning to work in a slightly different environment.
The other thing is, though, saying about that, what I've also found over the years is some people seem to like to know that you're going to be regular. So if you're there once, they won't necessarily go to you.
Consistency.
But if you're regular, then they will then change.
It's like a social proof, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm here this time, who is this person? Oh, actually, well, they're there all the time. They must be okay. I know where they are. They're trustworthy. Other people trust them. Other people have bought what they've got, and they keep coming back to buy what they've got, and I can get my hands around their throat if I actually needed to, because I know where they are. And it is it is a social proof thing, isn't it? Which to some extent you don't necessarily get online.
No,
or you don't get on the telephone. It's not just about that physical connection. It's about, hey, this person's part of a community. That means they're trustworthy.
Yeah.
You are right what you say there, because I remember when I first qualified to do facials, and I just thought, oh my God, I'm actually going to be charging now to do facials. What if I'm not good enough? And I, my skill hadn't changed between not charging and charging. I just thought, oh my God, they're now actually paying for the service. Suppose I'm not good enough to do this. So it's definitely a confidence and a value thing as well.
It is definitely.
So I think the overall thing is, if you're starting off at events, is not to expect absolutely fantastic things to happen. Just to sort of let things grow organically sometimes, and relax into it, and never. I always say to everybody, never pay to appear, never pay to attend at an event if you need to make the money back to pay next week's rent.
Yeah. The other thing with what Sylvia said as well is, when there's new people there, sometimes if they just get up and walk around and meet the other stall holders, that in itself will be quite a confidence boost when they know that other people are talking to them. And you can have people where sometimes you'll just look at someone and it will make you calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or someone's only got to say just a little thing if they see that you're nervous and stuff like that. But no, interacting with other stallholders is pretty much a must.
Yeah.
But obviously, not everyone can straight away.
Not everyone can. You sort of have to go easy on yourself and grow into it. Look, I think this is the problem with having a 2-hour show. I think we've run over. We better draw
wrap
this
up.
to a halt, haven't we? So, let's focus on Marie and Emma. Marie, how can people get hold of you if they would like to get hold of some crystals?
They can contact me either by email or on Facebook by the Healing Crystal Bags by Marie at gmail.com.
Emma, how can people get hold of you?
Well, I'd love to hang out with you on Instagram, and my handle is @_Emma Unsworth _.
Brilliant. Thank you, as always, to my co-host Adelle. Adelle, stop. What are you doing?
I'm checking. I was putting a picture on
doing?
Instagram. I've done something a bit marketing.
Could you, in the room.
Checking people are watching us.
I'm not going to tell you who Adelle is now. She's playing. She's playing with her phone.
No, right now I am putting our socials up on Instagram.
Oh,
I did
okay.
some pictures and
All
I'm putting
right,
it up
then.
on my story.
I didn't get to vet that, did I?
No, but he
Don't
wasn't
worry.
in it. It was these lovely ladies.
Well, that's nice, isn't it?
And I've got one for you in a minute for the second show. That's what I was doing.
So we have got Kay Best, we've got Maria Common, we've got Emma Unsworth, and round the corner of St Culture, we've got Sylvia Ottway, and we're going to be talking to the rest of those guys coming up in the next show. See you soon.
Tune in next week to the Women in Business radio show for more stories, ideas, and inspiration to help you grow your business.